My name's Thomas J. Price. I'm an artist from the UK, and I'm here at the AGO in Toronto. This work is called Moments Contained. It's a 9-foot bronze sculpture of a fictional young black woman standing with her hands in her pockets, looking out towards the distance. Moments Contained is actually made up of many different separate pieces, which are then welded together. And then they call it chasing. These different parts are then welded, and then those weld lines are sanded back, filed back, and finished to make it look like one homogeneous piece. The process of taking the idea of character, the idea of this psychological moment, and trying to distill that into a physical object. It starts with what is going to connect somebody to this physical construct in front of them. So basing the work around a feeling, and what I read in somebody's face as an emotion, somebody else might read differently. It starts in my head, essentially, and it used to be based around, quite literally, who was in front of me, and I would sculpt using different reference material on my wall in the studio. It's about the resonance on that emotional level. So I've got a nose from one person, maybe a forehead from another person, ears from somebody else, the chin from somebody, the stance from somebody. I bring in all these different elements, and then I try to kind of merge them together in a believable manner. There is this understanding of the power of bronze and the associations with bronze, which is why I use it. I want to put these fictional people into this material of power at scales which we associate with monuments in public places, which normally talk about who we're supposed to look up to. I'm often asked, who is Moments Contained and who are these characters? And for me, they're like psychological portraits. They're essentially an opportunity for us to meet ourselves, to meet our understandings of personality, of the sort of traits that are associated with physical types, and the ways in which society tells us how we're supposed to feel about one another. When people ask me, who is this person? Annoyingly for them, I put it back to them and say, well, who do you think it is? Because it's really that opportunity to examine our learnings and our understandings and our assumptions about one another. Moments Contained here at AGO could be anybody. It's an incredibly exciting moment to have Moments Contained outside of the AGO and visually connected to the identity of this quite incredible gallery. Well, Moments Contained is this image of a young black woman to be standing outside of the gallery in a non-performative way, a fictional character, no less. Somebody who allows us, doesn't matter who you are, to be able to connect a sense of empathy to that character, to discover who that person is. It's an amazing moment. A lot of my works, which are constructed fictional characters, are about trying to break free of this requirement for everything to visually be representative, literally, of a person. Because that has trapped us in this very narrow lane of who is allowed to exist fully in society and be deemed acceptable or worthy or be recognized for their contribution. It always fascinates me the responses people have to these works, generally speaking, particularly at this scale. And there's something so interesting about happening upon an artwork outdoors, because it's existing in our space. But people will acknowledge and recognize the work as an existing piece of artwork, and then take a moment of time perhaps to question, who is this? Because this work is really about being human, and who's allowed to be human, and who's allowed to express the fullness of being human.